Warhol is worth less in Bitcoin terms to me in the space of 3 or 4 or 5 months. Warhol, an icon of value in the world of art. So that's story one. So already you can see that art, if I'm not alone, I can't be alone. If I'm not alone, Bitcoin is beginning to encroach even on things like art as a store of value. Second point, I'm literally coming back from, I think, North Carolina last night, late, landing in Miami at drive up, landing in Miami. And I'm sitting next to this nice guy on the plane. And we were talking about, it's really fun to live in Florida. And it was a beautiful night. It was great. It landed. And he says, do you live here? I said, yeah. He says, how often do you get to North Carolina? He said he goes quarterly. And I said, oh, you're on board? He says, no, he's an executive coach. And somehow we got out of real estate because you can't talk about Florida without talking about real estate, right? And he asked me, oh, do you live here? I said, yeah. He says, do you live anywhere else? Which is code for, are you also a New Yorker? And I said, well, no, the only home I own is actually here in Florida. And he says, oh, that's interesting. Me too. And I said, well, why? He says, well, because, I just think I just only want one home. And I said, well, he says, what do you do? I said, well, I actually invest in tech. And he says, oh, really? I said, yeah. And I also invest in Bitcoin and crypto. He says, really? I do too. Now, the guy is older than I am. I'm sort of a first year of the Gen X. He's probably a boomer, sort of few years older than I am. And we talked about it. Guess what? Both of us agreed that we wouldn't put any more money into real estate when we could put it in Bitcoin. In other words, even real estate in Florida is beginning to get eroded by that conceptually. And so I don't see that stopping, Preston. I see that beginning to accelerate.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're not Gen Z. We're not millennials. You're talking about, call it a boomer and a Gen X that is right on the cusp of boomer. I'm close enough to boomer to know it when I see it. So, so that's, by the way, if it's happening here, it's going to happen everywhere and it's inevitable. And my guess is it accelerates.